Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the West and ending with Team 2 in the East. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. We have enough time for introductions and early coverage gameplay. Starting off with the northernmost player of Team 1, it is Vas Yam1. He's going first land as an Aeon. He is in orange, the color orange, and he is a 1900. I'm going to click on his comps. That way that visual glitch will go away. And again, he is an Aeon. To his south in Regal Purple, we have Blend Chill going first land, second land as well as a UEF. He is in Regal Purple, and he is a 1900 as a UEF. And further down, another UEF player here for Team 1. It is Soul Ripper Noob. He is going first land. He is in Barbie Pink, and he is a 1700. Continuing on, we have Snow White, player of Artifacts. Again, that visual glitch just coming in to annoy me this game, going first land as a Seraphim. He is the lowest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall at a 1300. And when I say low rated and I say 1300, it's like that is kind of high considering, you know, we're talking about pretty close to pro rating, but again, he is a 1300 Seraphim player in Snow White. And the last player on Team 1 to introduce is Nod PC or Node, depending on how you pronounce it. He's going first land, second air as a Seraphim as well. He is in Royal Blue, and again, he is a 1500. So for Team 1 side of things, we have an Aeon in the north, 2 UEF in the middle, and 2 Seraphim in the south. So no Cybrans on Team 1. Starting off with the southernmost player on Team 2, we have RNA. He is in Ruby Red. He's going first land, and he is a UEF as an 1800. To his north, we have Amethyst, purple player of Snog, going first land, second, third, fourth, fifth land as well. He is a 1900, the highest rated player on Team 2, and tied for the highest rated players in the game. And again, he is in Amethyst Purple as an Aeon. To his north in, this is Dimitri. He is in Glow-in-the-Dark Green. There is somewhat of I got a petition from someone to rename it as Mountain Dew Green. Let me know down in the comments if you feel similar to that. I might have a poll on the channel as well, or on the community post to ask everyone in general. But let me know if Glow-in-the-Dark Green is better, or if Mountain Dew Green is better. He is going first land. He is a UEF. He is a 1700. And again, he is in Glow-in-the-Dark Green, and that name will stay for now. In the north, in Pac-Man Yellow, we have RGB VCMG going first land as a UEF as well. He is a 1400, and he is in Pac-Man Yellow. And the last player on Team 2 to introduce, it is the Savvy Crimson player in the northeast corner of Beterji Savoa Pokan. He is going first land. He is a Seraphim, and he is a 1500, blending in with his environment as Chevy Crimson. Almost said Chevy Green for a second, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. So for Team 2 side of things, we have 3 UEF, a Seraphim in the north, and an Aeon kind of a little bit south, but kind of south mid. And let's take a look at the mass so far currently on the map. And to point out, there are no Cybrans in this game. So for those who love the spiky space socialists of the Cybran faction, unfortunately there are none in this game. Apologies to you. I don't pick the factions for the players. I just pick the games. And there is 17,000 mass. It was about 17.7. We'll probably round it up to 18,000 to make the math easier. 1.8 thousand mass per player. That is a decent amount of mass considering we've had games where it's 300 mass per person or 600 mass per person. So 1800 is definitely a steal here for these players. And speaking of a steal, honestly, there's not going to be a lot of stealing mass points in this game. If you take the map directly down the middle, there are no mass points realistically in the middle. The ones you could consider, quote, in the middle would be maybe these right here, or maybe you can make an argument for these because they're kind of close to the middle. But honestly, there's not a lot of mass points in the middle, which means most of the players and teams will just have a set amount of mexes and they'll hold those positions. And unless they get overrun by a player or two, they'll hold them for the rest of the game until everything collapses for that losing team. So we'll see how time goes on. There are, of course, Giant Mechs positions, as I mentioned, but they're going to essentially stick, like I said, in Team 1 or Team 2's hands, respectively. But let's go back up to 0 and start commenting about the early action. We have a couple of scouts, these T1 flares. There is a Spirit as well escorting them. Strategy is on the front lines with his comm with a couple of Selens to get some nice vision for himself. We have RGB in the front lines with a striker. Unit was killed off earlier on by Team 1's defending forces coming out from Blindshield. And it does look like there are some forces redirected middle as well. These coming out from Dimitri. I guess that engineer icon will stay there for a little bit because it keeps popping up, or just anything keeps popping up, and one icon is definitely better than like 8. T2 at 4 minutes in this game already started for Artifacts. He wants to make sure he has this position locked down. There are a lot of upper plateau and lower plateau, or lower sectioned of the map. You can see this one, the only entrance is from the west, and the only entrance down here is from the east. So I wouldn't be surprised to see any distance build from either end for Team 1 and Team 2. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, of course, transports come out as well from either team to just go after that lower section of the map. But again, higher ground, definitely the better place to be in a lot of these types of games because you can shoot down a lot easier than you can shoot up. And artillery, T1 isn't bad for that, but it doesn't last very long in terms of the overall length of the game. So again, the higher ground, definitely what our players want. We have another upgrade for Blindshield. He is going for damage and range. It does look like Team 2's RGB is pushing forward against this outpost here for Team 1's Blindshield. Of course, he is, busy farther behind on an upgrade, and he's actually gone south towards the middle, while we have his direct opponent of RGB going, of course, westward. So it will start to kind of favor Team 2 slightly in that regard, and it does look like there's a face-off soon to happen, but it's going to take a couple of minutes for those comms to meet one another. And Scratch, oh, nope, the comm keeps redirecting every which way, so I don't actually know where he's going. T2 did finish for Artifacts. I would assume he's going for, he's going for PD immediately. There's a nice wall section that's being built by Snog. So one player is saying, I'm just going to build a wall and be done with it. The other player is saying, I'm just going to build T2 PD and call it good there. So both players essentially doing the same strategy, just different ways. And in the south, units kind of and comms kind of just hanging out. There is a possible pincer maneuver starting there. I think Team 2's Alderney wants these units. Oh, of course he does want these units to engage his comm directly, and then the forces come in from behind or just go straight after the comm. Those aren't enough to kill the comm, so I feel like going after the units would be better off. There is a T1 artillery attacking that mechs. RNA goes, go away. I was doing something with that. T2 is already halfway done, and he is a Seraphim, which means he will have those Uttashalas. Very, very good at taking out T1 units, and pretty good at taking out T2, I think. Depends on the unit, of course, depending on how many hit points they have, but honestly, it's hard because Seraphim, Cerberus, trash. Tickle machines, tickle cannons don't do much. Unless, of course, 1,000 of anything kills anything. And then I think it's the... Oh, it depends. Because if you want AoE, I feel like, of course, the Aeon have the advantage. If you want doesn't miss the target, obviously the Uttashala, the Seraphim have the advantage. And if you want... I think the Triad does the most damage, I think. Well, maybe they do the same... Well, the Seraphim does not do it. Sorry, Cyber doesn't do the same damage. I don't know. Depends on the flavor. And, of course, Triads, of course, can fire a little bit over in an arc, while Uttashalas fire straight. Kind of the same thing with Aeon. It's a little bit of a little arc, but not as much as the Triad. So, and again, if anything I'm saying is incorrect, please let me know down in the comments. I don't want to be spilling out tactics and information and strategy, and if it could be completely false. So please let me know if I'm saying anything incorrect. RNA has gun. He's going for T2. Of course, he is a UEF comm, which means he's going to be very, very tanky. And just sit back, relax in his little bubble shields, and just fire some clean cameras at his opponent. We do see Blindshield with that not T1 upgrade, that gun upgrade on that commander, pushing back the forces of both Snog and He is Dimitri, because he is not the yellow player. He is glow-in-the-dark green. And it does look like Dimitri is going to either go to the front lines or retreat. But again, Blindchill, very aggressive with that commander. Might end up being killed off because of it. But if he's careful, he should be able to get out of dodge pretty soon. It does look like he has constant orders to retreat and just kind of go back and forth. I don't think he will die off. There is a couple of bombers en route to his location from Team 2's player of Snog. A couple of T1 bombers aren't the worst thing to go after or the worst thing to deal with because they're just T1 bombers. A couple of AA guns will easily deal with that. It's not really a huge threat. It's only when there's a bunch of units and a bunch of T1 bombers is really when you have to watch out. Gun range going on the way here for Voss in the north. He already has speed. He'll probably go for advanced, or maybe he'll go shield. Shield's it's a little early for shield. He'll probably go for advanced range or just stop at regular range. Let's see what he gets once this upgrade is finished. Yep, advanced range. It's usually the build order, and so it's really easy to guess. We do see RGB trying to shove these units off here from Blindchill. So while his comm is engaged in the middle, his units are engaged in the north middle. With this northern avenue for attack against RGB. He's really keeping three players just by himself at bay. We do see some reinforcements coming in from Soul Ripper, but Soul Ripper's kind of taking a backseat. He has some AA cannons, these archers, these guns online to help assist with dealing with those bombers, but he's kind of been sitting back, ecoing a little bit. He's already at T2 air, almost about to finish T3 before 10 minutes. So Team 1 will have T3 air, while Team 2 already has it, actually he hasn't built the T3 Pigeon, but he's building some engineers. He'll probably do that here pretty soon, probably build it right here to flank those other T2 Pigeons. But it does look like Team 2 has a slight advantage for Dimitri, but that advantage, of course, will go away pretty soon if it's not careful. In the west, actually in the south, I keep saying west, Artifacts has taken a severe amount of damage from T2 units and the couple of bombers inbound as well. He needs to retreat off the front lines and we can see the not the detriment, but the disadvantage of those Uthashalas because they are direct fire, meaning they have the direct line of sight to the target to hit. They are just constantly shooting the ground. And Artifacts, I don't know if you can be damaged by your own lasers. No, you can't. At least he can't walk in front of him like that, so that's pretty good, but still, he's getting another PD. Would like to see maybe a shield coming online here for him to help protect that commander. He is in the red. He has T2 and gun. There's a couple of extra hit points, but still has to be careful. He doesn't want to be the first evacuee of this game. In the north, land armies are trading blows. T2 Uthashala push coming out from Beraji. T2 volcanoes being built to dissuade those missile launchers. I guess there were missile launchers and now they're not anymore. There is a missile, no, that's a TMD. I don't see any missile launchers at mobile or otherwise. That's another TMD. I don't see any missile launchers, so volcanoes are always nice to have, but he needs those Oblivions, and there he goes. He's building one as we speak. We see Voss Yam trying to go after those T2 PDs of the Uthashalas, but he's being forced back by those units overcharging into those Thams. Tham takes a hit directly to the face and gets killed for it. T2, and Nano here for Team 1 in the west, for Blindchill, for Soul Ripper, and for Artifacts in the south. Nano, makes sense. Seraphim, why not? I mean, a bunch of hit points per second. Definitely fix his issue with that real quick. And in the south, red versus blue going on, and not really a whole lot. Uthashalas to the west, Triads in the east. Triads, of course, have 2,200 hit points, while the Uthashalas have 2,100 hit points. And RNA is just going to keep building them. Actually, we'll build some buzz kills as well, those T2 TMD to help protect against missiles. And neither comm, and I plan resorting to that just push for T2 missile launcher spam, which you see a lot, especially for fire bases. So it's kind of interesting to not see either of those. And both comms essentially doing the same thing. One does have a TML, but of course TMD is online and more is being built as we speak, so that missile launcher isn't really going to get a lot of work done, but again, something is better than nothing. T3 on the line here for Blindchill. He already has a rank in veterancy, so again, 10% more hit points on that commander. And he's starting to be, again, UVF super chunky. And no one has died yet, knock on wood for those players currently. It is almost 13 minutes in this game. Let's take a look at mass income. Team 1 at 450. Essentially, Team 2 at 410. So 40 mass ahead here for Team 1. That's amounted to about 6,000 mass, more than their opponents. Reclaim-wise, Team 1 has a couple thousand more, but that's not a huge issue. It's only, of course, when we get to the, 200, 300, 500 kind of stages of the game where it really becomes apparent who is in the lead, especially with mass. But just because you have 1,000 more mass income than your opponent does not mean your opponent can't still win. Mass is a metric for telling who might win. It is not an end-all, be-all of who will win. And we can see in the north as that missile launcher I was talking about earlier spam is occurring, coming up from Voss. We have some TMD trying to do their best to go after those missiles. And the volcanoes. The Oblivions are now in range for that 1 and 2. Utashala will give a little bit more attacking, not gravitas, but more oomph when the attack does happen coming up from Voss when Team D and Peter are already down as of walking headfirst into it. And again, in the middle, it's essentially a lot of the same, just hanging out. There's maybe some ecoing going on in base. We see upgrades going on. We have, fire bases going on as well. Kind of just quiet in the middle. And the south, again, just still fire base wars. And we can see that even from this position. It's just kind of standoffish. Hey, how's it going? Hey, I love your work. You should probably deactivate that scatter shield there, RNA. And that's, of course, that's Team 1's non-PC saying, and then RNA says, no, deactivate your shields. Your shields are better than mine. There's just, having some bantering going back and forth. I'm just making up the banter. Of course, it's not actually happening, but you can kind of imagine that's essentially what's happening is just they're kind of just hanging out and just kind of shooting the breeze with one another. Transport gets shot down by Team 2's RNA. Don't know what was on board. Maybe some Zui, just because they are Seraphim. That would kind of be the case. We do see that Utashala base with no shield, by the way. Still hanging on. Still not really forcing the attack. Not really saying, okay, we have our position. We can move it. Team 2's Snog is just kind of just like, nah, it's fine. I won't worry about it. I'm more concerned about the middle, which, to be fair, with Team 1 and Team 2's position, the longer this goes on and the longer that mass income looks like it is starting to collide together and get that separation is getting closer and closer. It looks like it's starting to favor T2, especially Team 2, especially if that momentum keeps going and they actually surpass their opponents in mass generation per second. And you can see that it's kind of starting to trickle back and forth depending on reclaim, depending on whatever else. We do see more and more missile launches in the north. They're mobile. I don't think he has a stationary one in the mix. They're just volcanoes and a couple of Oblivions. I don't see any stationary. He has a T2 Intel installation online for some nice little ray signatures. ASF fight is occurring over Team 1's territory, but there's not a lot of ASFs to really fight over, and Team 2 will gain control of the air for the time being. Of course, that goes a little bit to the fact that they built T3 air just a little bit faster and were able to eco out a little bit more of those planes. There is now a bomber online now that he has air control, and I would assume that's either going to go for T2 mass points or going to go for a comm if they build a couple more of them. I don't really know what comm Team 2 would go for. Shield coverage, shield coverage, shield coverage, and shield coverage. So realistically, the only one would be artifacts. And he has 80 hit points a second. He's going to get advanced nano regen, which will just skyrocket his regen. So you need a lot of firepower to kill him off. We do see in the south we have more missile launches firing back at one another. And Team 2's RNA is overpowering the shields and the TMD. Well, it's starting to go back and forth. There are multiple shields online for RNA versus the one shield for Nod PC. He has a second one as well, but that's not a lot. He's going to build more TMD as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see more buzzkills being built for the eastern player of RNA. He has a T3 Spearhead online. That'll really pump out those missiles very, very quickly. And there they go, 4 missiles at a time launching out. Those TMD can't really, fight off every single missile, especially with them blocking out of the sky, as that soon will be the case with T3 missile launches on the front line. ASF go in once again after the ASF hit for Team 1, trying to cover that bomber. The bomber is alive, 700 hit points left remaining, 2,500 mass killed. AA in the area is going to do a whole lot. It's about T1 AA, so not even T2 flak, just T1. And that bomber is going to sit back a little bit. Doesn't have veterancy, so can't passively regen. Will go into the north, though. It does look like there is a nice target, T2, and there are some buzz kills going to be built, but unfortunately that does not stop a bomber, but the bomber gets shot down, but the bomb does get released, which means that T2 Mechs is killed off. The engineers mostly survive. There's one that does get killed off, but again, one is better than all in that regard. So Team 1 lost a decent amount of mass, not a whole lot of mass. Team 2 has now taken the, kind of tied now. They've kind of closed that gap. They were in the lead for a split second. Now Team 1 has taken the lead once again. Could be on upgrades. And that's skyrocketing very quickly. Maybe that's some Pigeon related stuff. They just don't have enough. Oh, he's short stacking. He's short stacking. No, essentially everybody's positive or getting overflow. But a bomber in the west. There's ASF still going after it here for Team 1 Soul Ripper. He wants to take out those bombers. Takes out another one of those bombers. Will constantly lose the ASF fight, but again, the bombers are the main concern, trying to protect his eco and the eco of his teammates. T3 Broadsword now on station and going after those T2 Mechs. Okay, I was going to say, you probably should just go back and take that out. T1 AA is going to just tickle this thing. Doesn't do a lot of damage. Will kill off a couple of engineers while he moves. Another T2 Mechs is going to die. There is, I think, some T3 AA in the mix as well. That will have to retreat for the time being. There's another T2 Mechs. A lot of these mexes are undefended or have will just have nothing nearby. The ASF count just constantly cannot keep up with the amount of ASFs and firepower coming out from Team 2's air player of Dimitri. We do see, again, still missile launchers firing constantly, and more spearheads means more and more missiles. And it does look like some of those structures are starting to die off. Even actually, those are probably the T2 missile launchers coming out from from Nod PC. But the missiles are starting to overwhelm Team 1. And we see, of course, now the Broadsword going in the rear, taking out the T2 Mechs here for him as well, which will reduce his ability to fight off those missiles as time goes on. A barrage of fire coming out from those Scorchers. Does kill off, I think, a unit, but not really a whole lot of work there. We do see a lot of T1 AA being spammed up, trying to target anything and everything flying over. They're targeting the Broadsword. He's at 2 veterancy, almost to 3. Lightning Tank nearby will eventually kill that thing off, and T1 AA does confirm that kill here for Team 1's artifacts, but got a lot of damage done. Did do a decent job of taking out that eco, actually a lot better than the bomber did. And now Team 2 is ahead by about 60 or so mass per second. They were deficit of 40 a couple minutes ago. Now they're up 60, which means they've gained 100. And in the west, again, missile launchers still the flavor of the month here. There's spearheads, but you can see Team 1 and Team 2 using them constantly because they just throw out so many missiles. And against buzzkills aren't super great. TMD, he needs volcanoes. Those are a lot better, and an attack in the north coming out from Betaji is not going to go anywhere. There's a lot of shields, there's a lot of PD, there's a lot of obsidians as well. Very chonky T2 heavy tanks. They are the one of 2 T2.5 units in the game that I classify them as, at least. The Ilshis are the other. Looks like we have some standard artillery inbound as well, actually mobile artillery from these demolishers. Just wrecking face here in the west. Of course, Team D cannot block artillery. Now the shields are gone, and Nod PC will be forced to retreat for the time being. And Team 2 has won the southern section of the map, at least a little bit of it. And again, in terms of the map, it's essentially 50% owned by either team. You know, slight advantage here, slight advantage here, slight advantage. So it's just kind of just there and back. It's not really confirmed. They have this section, which means they have this percentage. Kind of just even. And in terms, again, mass per second, Team 2 now vastly ahead, almost 100 and almost 200 mass a second above their opponents. Team 1 and Team 2 still have all 5 players alive, which means no one died before 20 minutes and no one becomes a statistic in the sense that somebody usually dies before 20 minutes. So they have defied the odds. No one has died. Now they just have to go to 30 minutes and have no one die, and they really defy the odds. We do see, again, more spearheads coming out for Blinn Shield. Lots of mobile missile launchers, which should indicate a lot to both teams that TMD is very, very vital. We even see those missile launchers coming out from Voss assisting Blinn Shield's missile launchers and taking out this facility. There's a lot of TMD, and now counter spearheads are being thrown against their opponents. It's just missile war after missile war after missile war. And I would not be surprised to see a nuclear missile be used here pretty soon by either team. I mean, if you're going to use this many missiles, you might as well just build the nuke and be done with it. Air grid being nice and plump here for Team 1's air player of Soul Ripper, and the same can be said for Dimitri in the East. Let me know down in the comments below who you think is going to currently win the game. Hit that like button. Hit it so much you break it. Hit the share button. Share this video with anyone, everyone, and of course your pets. Can't forget your pets. Doesn't matter what kind of pet you have, even if it's just a pet human. You know, some people just adopt, right? Adopt, air quotes, you know, people into their families, into their friend groups and whatnot. I definitely have one of those, at least in my friend circle. And again, hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. I'm, you know, steaming towards 1,000. I'm really, really grateful for all of the support and all of the comments and likes and everything. Thank you so much. I love reading them, which is why I encourage them. And of course, I always encourage them because I like to learn. There was a game a couple of days ago where someone explained to me what parallax was. Really cool thing, by the way. If you haven't experienced it, you just put, as I did it with 2 fingers, we can do it with essentially like 2 pencils, and you close one eye, you line them up, and then you flip your vision, and you close that one eye and open the other, and it looks like the object moved, but it really didn't, and it's really cool effect, and it's all about perspective. It's really cool. So if you haven't done it, do it. You'll thank me later. And if you don't thank me, that's also fine, because you don't have to thank me, but I do appreciate the thanks anyways. Let's go ahead and look at just all of the missiles in the north. And of course, the missiles in the south just pushing back Team 1's non-PC. He is just suffering. Of course, that's being aided by T3 mobile artillery, the demolishers. We now see the units coming into range of PD. Those Percy's going, nah, I'm not dealing with it. There are some Othams online, but there's a lot of T3 units and a lot of fire coming out from this western side. Team 1's Artifacts now has to divert units from his flank, his position, to come and intercept the units coming up from RNA. RNA just keep on pushing to the west. He's not going to stop. The comm is under shield coverage behind another fire base. Now those missiles go wild, throwing anything and everything. Caution to the wind. Look at them go. T2 mechs being built. Oh, it's, you know, upgrading to T3. I should say being built, but upgrading to T3. Missile launchers just raining in all of that T1 factory spam. It does look like the Perseus are moving south to avoid the fire base. There is an avenue of attack to the main base on the southern edge, and of course on the northern edge as well, because this map is mirrored that way. The T2 mechs is gone. It was upgrading. All that massive energy is gone. Will not be able to recover it. A squad of missile launchers, both T2 and T3, and some of their brethren have been taken out by counter artillery from the west. These Zathuthams? I think that's how you pronounce it. And we do see a nice group of Othams pushing back these Perseus. I think all of it, actually there's one Titan left. Most of the Titans have been killed off. And the artillery from RNA goes, hey, you moved units. That's mean. You shouldn't do that. And now a T4 Galactic Colossus online here for Snog. Gonna force this position to fall. Units will have to be diverted to this location, both from the south and from the north, to assist. We have a similar attack coming out from the middle section of the map here for Blinn Shield to the east, attacking Artifacts is on the front line all the way over here. What's he doing over here? Was that a misclick? He's going to keep charging. He has 250 hit points a second, regen 30,000 mass killed. We have Ras on the way for Dimitri. What? What? I thought this was Team 2. This is Team 1's Artifacts. What is he doing over there? He's, approaching that 30-minute mark. He's got to be careful. Most likely somebody dies. Has to be very, very careful if he doesn't want to become that statistic. We do see in the east, the northeast, Bedergy is being pushed back as well. Everyone on Team 2 is being pushed back except for RNA in the south. He is doing the pushback. A lot of interceptors try to go after ASF, which doesn't really work out most of the time. Those interceptors actually going after the broadswords now. Team 2's air support comes in and takes out those broadswords inbound from Team 1's air player. Now the air fight will ensue. The numbers definitely reside with Team 2's air forces. They will slaughter those ASFs. They did not have a chance. Colossus almost at 2-star veterancy, going after mass points. Doesn't really care about anything and everything firing at him. And those ASF have to get out of range of that AA, or it's just going to be a wash for all the gains he has gained. 37,000 mass now killed here for Team 1's artifacts. Of course, he has 50,000 hit points max on that commander. 250 hit point regen is just a massive amount. And that Colossus is chasing down the comm of non-PC. Non-PC, oh, getting out of range just barely. Shields will come in and assist. Those PD that he built for this next fire base will be enough to stop that Colossus. If he gets a rank in veterancy, it might be all over. Oh, he's close. He needs about 200 more mass killed. Oh, dropping into the 3,000s. Oh, he could have probably killed off a couple more structures. He would have been fine. He's chasing that comm. The comm went southwest instead of southeast. The army inbound here from RNA will assist. That Colossus will turn around, will kill most likely one more Otham. Actually, the Otham will actually get out of range. But Perseus will kill that Otham. And that front line is devastated for Team 1's non-PC. He will be forced to retreat. He was almost cooked by that laser, but he got out of dodge just barely. Surprised artifacts survived here on the east. That's very risky play, but a lot of mass points are dead on the exterior mexes here for Team 2's players. It drops the eco income for them. It's essentially tied for right now, but I can see that definitely shifting in Team 1's favor as the game progresses. And a lot of Perseus are now on this front line, just being devastated by support coming out from Team 1, T2, and T3 units. Just anywhere and everywhere we see some Ilshis inbound from artifacts to assist, and this is going to be a huge push from Team 1 to force RNA back. This is essentially the furthest Team 2 has to the west in that center line. Everything else is owned by Team 1. And the map controls, again, starting to favor Team 1. There is an experimental in the north. It's coming out from Federgy. He's slowly wiping everything out. T2 upgrade on the way here for Voss. He has the sensor package, which means he can see a decent amount. Pretty much can see the chicken. Now we'll see the chicken. And will force its way westward. Artillery and missiles just firing every which way here for Team 1's everywhere units, because they're just everywhere. More PD, says Artifacts, question mark. Yes, more PD definitely would be helpful. That Colossus for Team 2 Snog is still running around. Missiles going really weird directions. They kind of hook. They kind of go straight in and then hook to try to... I don't know why they do that. I guess that's just the way they designed them. It's still weird. It's cool, but it's still weird how those missiles fire. We do see in the east a large group of ASFs. That is his main ASF force, and he is building a Duke, designed to slow down a little bit of his production, of course, and go for that Duke. It's a little bit close to 50%. It's going actually pretty quick, to be fair. Team 1, do you know about it? No, they don't. They just think it's probably just some more, air facilities and whatnot. Team 1, are you doing anything cheeky? A huge air grid. That is a ton of air facilities there. And we even have, how many is it? We have one over here at 25 air facilities versus the Dimitri's 9. I don't see any more. Yeah, it's just 9. 10 if you count the headquarters. But more than double the Air Force producing facilities here for Team 1 means he can just pump out ASFs. It doesn't really matter what Team 2 does. ASFs can just replenish very quickly here for Team 1. Fatboy online for the UEF player of RGB. And he's just trying to pump out some T3 power gens to assist with that income to support the shields, support the Fatboy, and the like. Lightning tanks online, dealing with any sort of air scouts or spy planes over the top here for Team 2's Betagy. We see non-PC is in the water. He's going to hide there. I don't blame him. He had a brush with death. I would hide too. We have some Othams in range of a Fatboy, and that Fatboy will be immediately killed off, unfortunately for it. It strayed a little bit too far forward, and now the concerted push by Team 1, mostly from non-PC. There is some assistance for coverage from artifacts, but it's mainly just Team 1's not PC pushing back. We see a laser, the space laser, the defense satellite, the whatever you want to call it, the Novax, its actual name, just whatever meme you want to call it, whatever nickname. And it is just going to start racing around the map, killing off. Did that Colossus grabbed that off them from the lower section of the map? That was interesting. Anyway, that laser's just going to go after T3 Mechs. Yep, that's what he's doing. That's what I would target, to be fair, with that laser. It's very effective for that. Also effective for taking out YOLO nukes. If you didn't know that, you should go watch my video on it. My cast about that has as the thumbnail. It is a satellite blocking a YOLO nuke, a super nuke. Kind of OP. You got to have a lot of satellites, to be fair, and you got to replenish the satellite as well, but still kind of OP. Kind of OP. We have that artillery is now online and going after most likely the air grid, and it is sailing above Team 1's middle front line. 3 comms really close together here. We have Bleeding Shield, Artifacts. He's in the north. He's kind of just giving up on the south. There is another Colossus down there here for Snog. That artillery raining in, and it's really going to hurt very quickly. There are some shields being built up as fast as they can, but the artillery, it can get a huge cascade going on if a couple more shots hit the right places. If it hits this pigeon, a couple more in the middle, that is a dead air grid. That shield was being built and then was killed off. That's going to slow down the protection here for Team 1's air player of Soul Ripper Noob. And that artillery isn't the most super accurate. T3 artillery isn't the best in terms of accuracy. You've got to have a Mave or something like that. Engineers get killed off as well, man. Either it's intentional or not, engineers do not exist here in this airbase because of that artillery. One ASF producing facility, air facility in general, has been taken out. We have another chicken online severely wounded here for Team 2's Better G. He's being forced back by Percy's and Rambo comms. Rambo comms, I wouldn't say they're OP. They are very, very useful. 42,000 hit points if you take into account the shield capacity. Billy Nuke, launched by Team 2 from somewhere. Oh, it's out from RNA. 28,000 mass killed. Essentially cripples Artifacts' ability to fight in this game. Billy Nuke, not Billy Nuke. Duke takes out a chunk of that air grid. A lot of facilities are pretty weak. If the shields are not built very quickly and sustained, that is going to really, really hurt. But it does look like some of those shots are, of course, being deflected or at least absorbed by the shielding. Still pushing in the east here by Team 1, and you can just see the inchworm effect going on here for Voss in the north. Still, 34 minutes in this game, no one has died. Artifacts probably is in the worst position because essentially another Billy Nuke landing take out his T3 land facility headquarters. That's going to hurt. Satellite just killing off everything else. Again, Russian in chat. I don't speak Russian. Some people have translated phrases for me. I definitely appreciate that. But someone did tell me about the Google Lens where you can essentially just put your phone up and it will auto-translate for you. I need to set that up because I feel like that'd be really cool. Maybe I'll do a test over the weekend and see how that works. Today is Thursday as I'm recording this video, so after tomorrow, of course, it will be the weekend. I won't have work. I'll have plenty of time to just play around with that. Hopefully it works very well, and hopefully I heard it's pretty quick, so maybe that would be something that I would use, especially for this game where, of course, there are players who speak German, speak Russian, and it's all around the world. It's I can't know every single language in the world, so that would be very nice to use. And that air grid is just suffering. Nice cascade. Takes out another section. T3 air facility headquarters is still online. But the shields just can't. It's one Duke, right? It's not two Dukes. There is a second Duke being built, but it's only one Duke. One Duke has done that much amount of power. It's a lot of firepower and dual nuke. Billy Nukes coming out from Team 2's UBF players of RGB and for RNA. We saw one land here and one land there. They're, of course, going after the fire bases and whatnot, but this front line is collapsing, constantly being pushed back. There is a Colossus in the north against Better-G. Chicken trying to be hurriedly built by those engineers. It's not going to be built. Engineers are the target. Sucks up some of those engineers as well, and those Authams are not going to be up. That Colossus is just going to literally walk all over them. And it looks like Better-G, if you don't move, you are going to die. We have Sniper Bot and T2 missile support in the rear covering that Colossus, and a large amount of ASFs have been built for defense from Team 2's air player of Dimitri. He's going for a standoff tactics with that artillery, and of course RNA has a laser, the space laser, not the chest laser of the Cybrids. There are no Cybrids in this game, so no chest lasers. Chicken on the front lines trying to push back Team 2's RNA, but a couple of the defenses will go offline due to that chicken, but a lot of T1 bomber spam will just severely wreck those hit points, and then the Restorers coming out from Snog as well will finish it off. Oh, takes out the radar. That's gotta hurt. Gonna be blind in the south for a little bit. A huge ASF, just, I was gonna say wing, but just ball runs just anything and everything over here in this southern section. Another Billy Nuke landing. Lots of Billy Nukes. I don't see Team 1 really using them. Soul Ripper could build one. Blind Shield could build one. He has Shield instead. He's being more defensive versus offensive. And of course we have the UEF commanders doing the same. I feel like Dimitri could benefit from a Billy Nuke as well. So 3 comms on Team 2 having Billy Nukes. That's a lot of pseudo nukage. That's a lot. But combined with Rambo comms, Percy's, Parashields, Cougars, other T1 support with T2 skyboxes, this army is not going anywhere. Actually, it is going somewhere. It's going east, and it is not going to be stopped. That Colossus was eventually killed off, but Team 2 just can't mount any sort of lasting defense. Of course, those Rambo comms are just running ragged Team 2's defenses. There is a Fat Boy online. Secondary guns open up, which means you know it's dangerous for that Fat Boy, because if those open up, stuff is too close. We have a push in the south section of that position. We have 2 Colossus, or 2 Colossi, depending on the pronunciation or how I say them. I say both ways. And they are going to rip through the shielding on this base here for Soul Ripper, but he's essentially the assist down south. We have some broadswords coming in as well. They're targeting the first Colossus in line. Where's the ASF response here from Team 2? Pings go down. Blue Nix go after another group of T2. I think those were T2. Maybe they're T3 mexes. Another Billy Nuke inbound takes out. Actually, that's artillery. That's not Billy Nuke. That is artillery. And the comm of RNA is on a transport. Billy Nuke lands in the north. And those things are being fired constantly. He's going to drop himself down here and assist with efforts in the north. This is where a lot of the action is happening in the south. It's kind of stagnant now. He could try to push. I don't know if it amount to a whole lot. And the huge ASF engagement will occur. Team 1 has slowly started rebuilding their air grid here. And Team 2 essentially has kept the same air grid essentially the entire time since he started building that Duke. And now it does look like Team 1 Soul Ripper will claim air control here for this game at almost 39 minutes in this game. Team 2 needs more AA defenses. They need more ASFs. Those Rambo comms are just ripping through that Colossus and just taking shot after shot after shot from those Billy Nukes. They do not care. That Colossus trying to cut through 42,000 hit points per Rambo comm, and that is a lot of hit points and artifacts on the front line. The mad lad that he is just going to charge that Colossus and go, nah, I'm fine. 50,000 hit points, 250 regen. Should overcharge that thing pretty soon and kill it off. It's dropping pretty quickly. It's not being focused. The comm is not being focused. And there he goes, artifacts. 39,000 mass killed for that commander. A couple of T1 bombers are not going to be a lot to dissuade him. And the Restorers targeting the Rambo comms as well. They're a little bit more concerned with that. Restorers now targeting the comm, but he's going under shield coverage. And the ASFs for Team 1 are going to sit right to the west of that. So as they come in and turn around for their second run, they'll be just annihilated. That's not a lot of Restorers to hold off that ASF force, but that comm, again, under constant bombardment. Not a lot of AA. ASFs aren't engaging. Oh, the Billy Nuke. Who's it coming from? It's coming from RGB. Will the ASFs move? It's getting closer. Missiles launching in the west. The ASFs do move either by accident or on purpose. And that Billy Nuke does not land anyways, but the Restorers have been killed off in that engagement and constantly raining in the north as well. Team 2's Betagy is knocked out of position. He has essentially nothing to his name except advanced ARAS, so some mass per second, but not a lot. Still, the mass game is favoring Team 2 at, well, that was reclaim related, 1.6 versus 1.4, 1.5 for Team 1. Triple lasers in the north going after Voss, the first evacuee, first kill of this game for Team 2, and in general will now be a 5v4 in favor of Team 2. Kind of surprising. You would think Artifacts, being the mad lad that he is on the front lines, and he is dropping to a Colossus as well, and his hit point, he's not going to recover. He is DED. So within about 30 seconds or so, another comm on Team 1 has been defeated, giving Blind Chill control over a decent amount of the map. He has control of the whole northern section, and it does look like Team 1's Artifacts did look like he gifted over most of his stuff to Soul Ripper. And now with 2 Dukes online here for Team 2, and that's a decent amount of firepower. I would like to see, of course, a third. Missiles inbound will kill one of the Dukes. There's no TMD. Oh, that's definitely a just oversight there. Second barrage inbound, definitely solidify that kill, and will kill off the mass. That has got to hurt. TMD going to be hastily built immediately. 1 artillery, of course, better than nothing to kill off. That's not going to happen again here for Team 1. More missiles are inbound, though. Maybe they'll go after some of the air grid, but I think they are after that second Duke. That's a lot. That's just got to hurt. We have broadswords inbound to take out anything and everything in terms of defenses here from Soul Ripper Noob. Here comes those TMD shots inbound. They kill that off very quickly. Broadswords, they bypass the Duke. I don't know if that was on purpose or by accident. They're going after T3 Mexes and T3 Pigeons would be my guess. There's a lot of Pigeons down here that are kind of just exposed, and they're just going to run ragged. Of course, they're targeting the T3 Mexes, specifically ASF Escort here from Team 1 Soul Ripper. They've killed off, actually, they haven't killed off much of anything. They killed off a Pigeon, but that's about it. And now they're just going to go after the satellites. That's what they're going after. Some of the gunships are actually underneath the shields, taking out the engineers building that defenses, and ASF's coming to support him, of course. More and more AA being built. Shields are down. Now they're targeting the SAM sites themselves. T3 mass extractors going down now. Pings go down to target that satellite. More and more shields. There's no shielding around. The engineers actually are the main target here. I would love to see some flak. You could have built that a lot quicker. Of course, they are T3 gunships, so they have a lot of hit points, but flak would have just annihilated them. One of those satellites does go down. The second one will not go down. There's a lot of AA built in that interim while those gunships went after the engineers and the whatnot. And, oh, no, drops half of the hit points, so it's better than nothing. But a donut will come in and just rip through all those ASFs here for Team 1. Strat bombers inbound. They're going for that Duke. I don't know, but they're not going to really get much where maybe they're going after T3. Oh, they kill off some of those T2 mass fabs supporting those T3 Mexes. And another Billy Nuke in the north, and the comm also targeted here for Snog. He had shield. He lost all of that. And a chicken approaching southward. Snog's got to go in the opposite direction for that. And Snog is killed off. He went a little bit too southward, and that will be his downfall. Team 2 loses 1 player, it being now 4v3 in favor of Team 2 at 43 minutes in this game. This game has seen a couple of evacuees very, very, one after the other, essentially. Chicken now officially being killed off. That's going to take out a lot of supporting structures and Pigeons and the like in the middle. Team 1's now attacking force of 3 Colossus coming in from Blind Shield. We have Billy Nukes landing constantly, and now it's going straight for the middle of that pack. I think it will kill off that Colossus. I think it does enough damage. There it goes. That 1 Colossus is down. 2 more are there to be contended with. Of course, we have dual Billy Nuke in the middle of this little pond section. I don't see Dimitri's comm. He could have another one on board, but I don't see it. Where are you? Oh, he's down here. He could be up there, but he's not. Team 1 bombers trying to do what they can. The Colossus being lasered by cousin Aeon forces from Team 2's. Who is that actually from? I guess the Aeon player of Snog was killed off, so it's owned by Dimitri. Still, it's still Aeon. Doesn't matter who's driving it. It just matters that it's an Aeon constructed unit. Colossus meeting this army head on. There's a lot of support in terms of shields, a lot of T3 units. We have Perseus and Spearheads. That lands on top of that Colossus. Will it be enough for this Colossus from Team 2 to kill off the one from Team 1? Drops it into the red. There's Percy Fire now engaging. A lot of those units have actually stopped moving. Some Perseus are now in range, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save that Colossus, and it doesn't even matter. There's a Billy Nuke inbound to support. Those units are just hanging out. That is not going to be good for their health. Kaboom! Takes out a lot of the shielding. The Colossus will die as well. We have a massive amount of units coming in from RNA from the south to support. We have a Rambo comm that was most likely dropped off from Team 1. That's going to go after that Fat Boy, but there's actually two Fat Boys in the mix and a lot of Percy Fires. They're targeting the Fat Boys directly. That Rascom, not Rascom, keep saying Rascom, Rambo comm does not get the kill. Tried to suicide on top of that Fat Boy. Doesn't get anywhere with that. But the units are just purging anything and everything from Snog's old base. And Billy Nuke's constantly, I mean, it's non-stop with these two guys. Will not stop. There he goes. Kills another set of units and more hit points off those Colossi. In the west, do we see any sort of game ender / standoff tactics? More of those quantum gateways producing Rambo comms. The comm of Soul Ripper hiding underneath the water with TMD and T3AA. Strat bombers are being built up. That is a dangerous amount of strat bombers. And Dimitri just control K, saying he is done with the game, giving everything over to Beregi, who had essentially nothing for a long time. Will help bring him in this game. Actually, Dimitri's over here. This is RGB. Wait, what? RGB is defeated by Bling Chill. By what? I don't see Tort bombers anywhere. That was kind of weird. When he died here, I thought that. I mean, he was down here. Dimitri was down here, and RGB was here. I don't see what killed him. There aren't torpedoes on board a lot of those units here from the UEF. Or the Colossus, or the Aeon for that matter. Don't know what killed him. Kind of weird. It is kind of weird. Anyway, let me know down in the comments how he died, if you saw that or not. We have RNA still in the water and Beregi in the north. It's now a 2v3 in favor of Team 1. Bad Boys are trying to hold off the amount of engineers just scooping up mass on the field. Speaking of nuke and speaking of mass, a nuke now launched. I must have just missed it. It is from Team 1's Soul Ripper going after something. The air grid would definitely be a prime target. Strat bombers went after the actually tried to go after the SMD. I don't know what they went after, but they did not get very much out of it. It is inbound, and there's a SMD right here. It is going to shoot that nuke down. Another Duke is being constructed in the south by RNA. The Duke is still online here for Dimitri's old base. Team 2 still has artillery. Epic scum from me, says Soul Ripper. No, it's not scum. You're using what you have to your advantage. That's not scum. That's how, it's just part of the game. The only thing that could be scum is if you agree to not do something and then you do it anyways. Whereas the nuke, says Soul Ripper, it got shot down. There is T3 artillery online from the southwestern player of Nod PC. We kind of, he's just kind of hanging out in his little corner of the map. No nuke, says RNA. And no nuke, no soup for you. Not going to work here. More Rascoms running around the map. Percy's, of course, very useful for taking these out. Does thousands of hit points per shot. If they can actually land, of course, because the Rambo comm is trying to just dodge. And it does look like that comm is constantly being microed. Oh, actually, it stops moving. Okay, there goes the move order again here by Blinchill, trying to keep that online. Soul Ripper just can't believe it. He thought he killed off all the SMD. You guys didn't have the sound? No. It's not that you didn't have the sound. We have SMD. Exactly. Thank you, RNA. They have SMD. Artie somewhere says Beregi. Oh, that's close. It's right here. Where? Here says Artifacts. Yeah, it's right there. You missed it. There's some AA support. Soul Ripper goes, oh, I missed that one. That's why I made that comment. I wonder what those those strap bombers are doing. $300. Never using Nuke again. Oh, I think RNA is saying $300 to kill off the SMD. Maybe that's what he's talking about. I wouldn't be surprised if someone tried to buy a win in this game, but it does look like Plain Chill. I mean, it kind of does. Maybe a joking buy, not a serious buy. Looks like the artillery now from Team 1's not PC going up the artillery from Team 2's, now owned by Betergy. And 3 satellites over Blink Shield's position. Artillery coming in from the Duke as well. T2 shields trying to be spammed up to just protect the comm. Of course, he has his own shield generator on board as well. I don't know how long that is going to last online. Is that a Billy? No, that's artillery. Is a Billy Nuke would be very funny to see. That is nuking, though. No, maybe that was a Billy. No, maybe that was artillery. I don't think that was a... It would have impacted the shields, to be fair. More artillery landing. Gonna take anything and everything out. The laser's going, nah, it's not fun anymore. I'm just go after something else. Team 2 still holding the south for a very long time, of course. Team 1 hasn't been pressuring it as much. They pressured the northern side, which they felt was weaker, and they were right, as evidenced by they now own the entire northern edge of the map. They own probably about 65% of the map. If your guess was Team 1, as of right now, it's favoring Team 1 in terms of map control and mass per second at almost 2,000. It's essentially a 2-to-1 advantage. Team 1 producing 2 mass. Sorry, Team 1 producing every 2 mass for every mass Team 2 produces. That was a little confusing to say, but it worked, I think. Those Fat Boys are pushing in. They have to watch out for other artillery and other units nearby, though. But Percy's now going after shields. They can't. They need to go closer to the edge. It's a kind of, again, it's a direct fire weapon. They don't arch. You have to have a clear line of sight. Of course, it's harder to see it from here versus down here like this. So, and especially with players like this, it's just kind of hard to constantly focus on that. A group of broadswords is inbound. I'm gonna slow down just a little bit so we get a nice shot at this. Look at these broadswords. They are inbound. That comm is, I need assistance. I need an adult. I need more shielding. It's assistance. ASFs are inbound. That comm is being riddled with plasma as we speak. There is an SMD nearby as well to protect his commander. And it does look like the ASFs have been able to chew through most of those gunships. But now the satellites come in, and now most of the capacity on those shields are down. Some of them do blink back on. There is a Billy Nuke coming in to assist with dealing with it. Blink shield is below his shield capacity. There is still broadswords online. Shields around him fall. T3 pops online to assist. Covers 17,000 hit points. He's trying to assist that as best he can. I hear some of those strap bombers somewhere. Oh, they're over here down south. And that comm is still alive, surprisingly. Had the shield stay, sorry, the shields, had the satellite stay here, he probably would have died. And they would have probably targeted the emitters themselves and killed that off. Billy Nuke comes in, takes out some of these capacity and the emitters themselves. They can't be assisted unless they have some sort of capacity in them. But Billy Nukes. But Strap Bombers come in and kill off one of those Fat Boys. That one would just be replaced by a new one. Those, I keep saying Billy Nukes. Those Strap Bombers are inbound. There's actually a decent amount of them running around the map. They're going to keep going eastward, going after the comm, it looks like. But there's a lot of AA support in terms of mobile or otherwise. Does kill off some of those defenses. Betergy does get pinged saying, hey, you probably should move. And with three Fat Boys in support, the line of T2 and T3 PD will start opening up. The Kama Bling Shield is still alive. 2 veterancy in the yellow. 2 satellites overhead. Still can't kill that guy. 2 of the Fat Boys are dead. The third one about to die. Betergy hiding behind the Fat Boys saying, help, help, help. I need assistance. We have broadswords inbound here from him as well. And that is ripping through that Colossus. Look at those hit points. They're just going and going and going and gone. Ravagers and Triads just opening up to anything and everything. But this attack isn't the end-all be-all here for Team 1. It's just one of a wave. And the Billy Nuke, either it was a Billy Nuke or something. Yeah, it gets killed by a Billy Nuke. Good shot by RNA. Finally got through to that defenses. It's now a 2v2 tied up game here. We have a wave of missile launchers, missiles inbound here from the missile launchers in the north. They're going after the comm, and the comm actually gets killed off by Soul Ripper. It's killed off by those Rambo comms, not necessarily those missiles. Missiles were targeting other things. T3 air facility headquarters was the target. SMD was probably also the target. The Ravagers opened up, immediately kill that comm off. It's now a 2v1 in favor of Team 1. And with the red comm remaining, kind of fitting for this map, covered in red environment. Sand. I'm assuming sand. Maybe rock. Maybe it's both. I don't know. Donut online in the middle, going after units on the front lines. That fat boy, not a good placement for it. The Combo Bleed Shield did get killed off, but Team 2, they are severely low on map. They're severely low on mass. Now, Team 1 has 500,000 reclaim to Team 2's not even 200. So 2.5 times the reclaim for Team 1. And that has really amounted to a lot of mass in their favor. 4.1, almost essentially 4.2 million versus 3.5 million. Essentially, what is that? 700,000 mass difference. For almost 350,000 of that. So half of that just from reclaim. That's a ton of advantage. A ton of mass. Now 2.1. Now more than doubling the eco being generated by Team 2. By one player alone at this point. Artillery now refocused onto this one in the southwest. More shields are being built to protect it. A second Hovatham was coming online, but with artillery raining in from multiple sources, I don't think it's going to last very long. The Duke still online. Does look like it took some hits. The satellite has not been replaced. I mean, if the mass is still there, you would assume they just build on top of it. Then mass 2 nods, says Vast. The Donut does get shot down, kills the T3 air headquarters, the SMD, and now missiles come in and kill off the Duke. Team 2 is losing its military assets, offensive assets, very, very, very quickly. And the only real base left online is in the southeast for RNA. He is the last man standing for his team. He has a T3 air headquarter facility online in the south from an Aeon from his teammate of Snog, but multiple missile barrages are inbound. Looks like they're going after the Duke that was being built, but it was hardly ever built. That's a vastly way more missiles that they really needed. Another barrage is inbound. The air grid is being picked apart. We have RNA producing Team 1 naval facilities in a pond producing engineers. Now just think about that for a second. He could build land facilities. He could build air facilities. He decides to build naval facilities. Now the nuke's going to land and take out the rest of the grid. He's building naval facilities, and not only is he doing that, he's building engineers off of them for reclaim. They haven't been given a lot of orders yet, but just gotta think about it. That's just interesting. 56 minutes in this game. That nuke is going overhead. They could have killed off the comm had they known where it was. I mean, with something like that, you would assume he's just there. But that nuke is inbound. It will kill off a lot of stuff here. Kills off the reclaim for that donut as well. Everything is gone. Nothing is online. Drop bombers now roaming the eastern sides here for Team 1 Soul Ripper. We have another donut in the queue waiting for attack orders. 2 satellites over the top. 1 artillery still online. And it's just not looking good here for Team 2. And I feel like at this point, speeding it up is probably a good idea. I think I'll do 3 for now until I see something crazy. We see just Team 1 spam trying to impact the fire bases down south, but with Ravagers online, can't really get anywhere. We do see, I think that's artillery inbound. Yeah, it's inbound from the Thuthams coming in from Nod PC. There is a Colossus severely wounded. There's Ravagers being occupied, of course, by those Zui. I am so sick of this game right now. Says Soul Ripper, do I, says Boss. Oh, talking about getting an eye online to see what's going on. Strap Bombers inbound. Take out the SMD. There is a secondary SMD online. The Donut can't really get close. There's a lot of AA. Decides to go, nah, I'm fine. I'll go after the stuff over here that doesn't have a lot of AA. Good move here from Soul Ripper, just lasering everything to death with the Donut. Donut is actually in the red. will actually die off. Doesn't kill much. Does kill a lot of Percy's, though. Ouch. Just grouping up to hang out. 87,000 mass says fast spawn. I'm going to slow down to see how much is currently on the field overall. 629,000, actually 28,000 mass. Enough for 2 Paragons and then some. That is a ton of mass. Not as much as, of course, a million and more, but still, I think I'll just do 2. I think 2 is a good speed. It's not super fast, but it's not super slow to where you feel like the game's not really progressing, especially when it's just already thrown at one another. Not really a lot of moves. The air grid, again, just being beaten down by the artillery from Team 2. Soul Ripper just tries to have something online and says no. Team 2 says no. No nice things for you. No air grid. And the nuke was killed off as well, it looks like. So yeah, again, no nice things here for Team 1's air player. And there is a counter nuke, a new nuke online here for Team 2's RNA. No one decided to build a game ender. Maybe there was a gentleman's agreement beforehand. Maybe that happens. Maybe it doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't see anything crazy. Another artillery almost done here for Team 1. And that's their only source of counter artillery in the southwest. Of course, if you just drop a bunch of donuts on top, that also counts. A Mavor under construction. So we do see a game ender. There was no gentleman's agreement. And that's being built very, like, right here. Not back up here. Not in the corner. Not in the main bases. Here. And the pings actually go down. I think that's from Team 1 saying to move. And that artillery is actually targeting SMD up here. The SMD, I will point out, is covering the Mavor. And once that SMD goes down, that Mavor is completely open to nukeage. And I think that is what RNA's goal is. That nuke is being somewhat assisted. Would like to see more assistance. A lot of... How many... Sir, how many parashields do you have? 30, just 63. Just 63 parashields, just a cool 63. That is a ton. That is a ton of shields protecting that Duke. That's just taking shields to a very interesting level. Of course, we can see the range on that Billy Nuke. It can target the Mavor. It can target a lot of things. Pings go down to target the SMD. Takes out that SMD. A lot of the SMD for Team 1 are going down. I think there should be one in the... Oh, there's one right there. There it is, getting a second one loaded as we speak. That'll be the hardest one, I think, to take out. But once this SMD is down here in the north, that that Mavor is definitely under threat. That's definitely the main target. He's in the yellow. He's slowly reaching that 100% stage of completed. 3 satellites are inbound to give him a nice little vision. There's a new SMD built next to it. Duke is trying to target it as well. There's a lot of shields being built to protect it. I feel like the way to go is to take out the Patron, the SMD here from the Aeon. Just take that out and you'll be fine. Just nuke it. Artillery still raining in, trying to target his own SMD. This one almost loaded. There's another one down here. That one's almost loaded. This one has 3 loaded. He's fine for now. The nuke is almost loaded. And that will definitely wait till that SMD is gone. He looks like maybe he heard me from the ether or through the ether. SMD is being focused by those lasers. There it goes. Once it goes down, that's it. Duke coming in for assistance. Nuke says Beraji. And it has been built by Team 1's air player of Soul Ripper. And there it goes. The nuke order has been given. And those RASCOM, actually their shield presets and a bunch of engineers almost got it into the green. So 75% almost there. The shield presets go, nope, not going to stay there. There goes the nuke. I'm going to slow it down so we get a nice little view of it. And of course, kaboom! Actually does get the shield presets as well. A lot of stuff died from that one nuke. How much mass was killed off exactly? 160,000 mass killed. And now that is what I call mass efficient. Multiple artillery raining in here from the west. 2 on line. I think that's the only. I feel like there's a third one firing. I just don't see it. That's T2 artillery, not T3. Awasa bomber or Awasa bomber on the line. Yeah, just look, it's just the 2 artillery. I don't see. Oh no, there's the 3rd one. It was just finished off. That's why. 3 artillery online in the southwest. Do it. What is that? Oh, that was Soul Ripper being killed off by RNA. Thought that was a Billy Nuke, but that's kind of out of range. There were donuts inbound here from the north, the east to the east, and transfer of control does stop them from moving for a second. Satellite should be the main target. First donut is down. There's 2 more SMD down here. Second donut's going to crash land on top of a Novak satellite. And the 3rd donut trying to get to that Duke. Will he get there? People with more than 100 IQ would have recalled. And there goes that donut almost off screen. Can be scooped up. You can see it landed essentially right here. The Duke is perfectly fine. Still has, a 1/3 of his hit points gone, but that's, better than being destroyed. But with 3 artillery online, some of the shields have been destroyed or leave like Dimitri. Yeah, do whatever. It says Soul Ripper. Team 2's RNA is going to stick it to the last 1 hour, 5 minutes in this game. It's now red versus blue. I was going to say blue versus red, but there's a lot more blue than there's a lot of red. And Team 2's RNA still there. You did a good job, says Artifacts. I do like the congratulations between the players saying, hey, you did a great job. Don't feel bad. Multiple artillery. Is that a 4th one online? Not PC. Do you have 4 online now? No, it just looks like 4. Okay, let me zoom out. Yep, that's just 3. We have pings going down here from teammates from Team 1 with a bunch of Rambo comms charging this front line. A lot of Percys, but they're falling back, and they've built some Ravagers as well. So as the Rambos fall back, the Ravagers open fire. That's going to hurt. RNA sitting in the ruins of his teammate of RGB. Again, it's a 1v1, 1 hour, 6 minutes in this game. Donuts landing all around. Of course, they landed earlier on. It does look like the mass is just being reduced severely. It was at 10,000. It does at 24,000. Now it's at 10,000. The Nuke is still online, but the shields around that Duke are falling. The parashields trying to come in and assist it, but no, doesn't matter. Kills off that P-Gen, kills everything off, kills the mass off as well. The Nuke is the only essentially scary thing here for Team 1, but of course the artillery is down, which means the threat of those SMD going down kind of low now. There's not a lot of SMD coverage anywhere else. Actually, there isn't any except for right there. Essentially where that Nuke really, really wants to go, but it can't. And the Nuke, it is almost loaded. I feel like he'll launch the Nuke and maybe just end the game there. You can just tell the game has been in Team 1's favor for a while, which is why I sped it up. We'll go back to 2. There is a donut over top a Fat Boy. That's never going to go the Fat Boy's way. Advanced nano repair, because why not? With 2.2 thousand mass per second, why not do that? I think there was a Nuke in the north. Looks like it was probably, yeah, looks like it was taken out. And I saw bombers. I heard them somewhere. There they are. Land attack is incoming here from Team 2. Last hurrah here from RNA, trying to get some work done. Bombs landing constantly. Lots of shields in this mix to deflect a lot of that incoming fire. But it doesn't matter. Even if he manages to get somewhere close to that artillery, it's never going to be enough. It's, of course, a last-ditch effort, as that is. AA opens up, just annihilates that bomber. Second bomber is inbound, takes out that one as well. But the 3 artillery pieces just wrecking shop here in this space. The Duke is being rebuilt. He's not giving up. He's going to keep going. And the comm's still in the water, still hasn't moved, has a Billy Nuke loaded. Would love to see him throw it right here. Miasma Fire ripping through the hit points on those Ravagers. Counter Ravagers not being built by Team 2, but that's not going to go anywhere. It's too close to those Rambo comms. And now the Tsar just ripping through whatever's left of Snog's old base. Something in Russian here by Berdaji. Maybe he says AA probably. The artillery is too much for RNA. There goes the Nuke. That's that last thing he was hoping for to use. Should have launched it when he had the chance. I feel like it would have been built by now. And 1 hour, 9 minutes in this game. I'm going to go up 1 more point in speed. I think this guy is meditation in game or something. Or it's just the calm, it's just the Relaxing, not really worrying about a whole lot, not giving up, not stressing out about anything. Billy Nuke lands on top of those Rambo comms. They don't care. They're just going to sit there and take it. I feel like RNA wants to kill those off. He's 184,000 mass killed for him. Colossus comes in, and that Colossus is being severe. It's just, it hurts. It hurts for him. Oh, there could be a cascade. There was a cascade there. Broadswords come in, will kill off that Galactic Colossus. There's still a decent-sized land army here for RNA, and he's built another nuke, an Apocalypse one at that. But the shields are not strong enough to repel firepower of that magnitude. And there it goes. That is gone. The secondary nuke has been eliminated. And RNA, 1 hour, 11 minutes in this game, still will not control K, still will not leave. Russian in chat here from him, making a comment about some TMD. Don't know what that's about here from Beta G. And that attack will actually keep going westward. Don't think it's going to get very far, especially with an Awasa bomber inbound. We'll take out a huge section of that army. Oh, that's got to hurt. Teleporter coming online for RNA. 1 hour, 12 minutes in this game. A UEF comm is going for Teleporter. I wonder where he's going. He has to get rid of his Billy Nuke. Salvation online. Didn't even notice that. Where is that coming from? It's coming from in the north. The Team 2's RNA was going to win that fight. Kills off everything over here. Teleporter is almost done. We have some T2 skimmers online going after the comm. The comm builds the teleporter and will immediately teleport. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Where are you going? Sir, where are you going? You are going in the water over here. It's probably where he's assuming the comm is hiding. And he would be correct. The comm is hiding there. But will he make it out before those shimmers, sorry, not shimmers, skimmers come back? I don't see any more, actually. So he might actually be able to get away with this. I'll actually speed it back up. Let's slow it way down. Okay, the order has almost been completed. There he goes. He appears. Immediately needs to build some not CMD, some T2 torp bombers, T1 torp bombers. It does look like the comm is like, nope, not dealing with that. T2 Storks are now nearby. NordPC will stay in the water, and knowing that RNA will not. A chicken will force him back into the water. RNA is not going anywhere. So many torp bombers inbound. There he goes. Team 1 probably knew where he was for a little bit because of that. Or maybe just guessed. And that is it. Let's actually see if Team 1 did know where he was. Doesn't look like there's any text icons there. So much mass still on the field to scoop up. 600,000 of it to be exactly. Let me know how you felt about this game down in the comments below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button to share it with everyone and anyone. And of course, let's get on to the best, or one of the best parts of the cast is the MVP and MUP awards. And in terms of who I feel is deserving, RNA was the only Team 2 player to really make any sort of progress in the South. So I got to give him props for that. He was the last man standing for his team. Doesn't necessarily mean he was the best. Just means that he was the last man standing. The Billy Nuke killed off a lot of mass. Actually got a snipe on Bling Chick himself. Every time I say that name, I feel like I'm saying it wrong. And I feel like I'm saying it wrong, and I hear it being said wrong, and I try to correct it. Anyway, kills off him with a Billy Nuke. Get some points, get some nice brownie points for that. We had Dimitri. He switched over to artillery. That was definitely an interesting play. He was able to take out some of that air grid for a little bit, but just because of the sheer number of facilities online, Team 1's Soul Ripper was able to just rebuild them very quickly and just constantly pump out ASFs. So I get where Dimitri was going, but he just needed double the amount of air facilities, and he would have been fine, I think. But besides that, I don't really know who to give it to. Everybody survived after 30 minutes. They survived at least to the 30-minute mark, so no early departures in that regard. It's kind of hard to pick. Team 1 won the game. NordPC did eventually come back and win it for his team. He was pushed back in the South by RNA, held back, kind of hung out, built a couple of artillery, and said, I'm just going to do what you're doing, Team 2, and just call it good. And that ended up winning him the game. He probably could have won it with just land. It would have taken a while, and air a little bit. It would have taken a while, but he eventually would have won it. It was just the amount of sheer firepower coming down onto RNA's base that really just cracked it. Also, of course, the 3 donuts coming in definitely assisted with that as well. But I don't know who to give it to. I think I'm going to give it to RNA just because he said, okay, I have the southern side pretty much taken care of. I'm going to go move my comm to the northern part of the map, or the middle part at least, and help assist in that regard. So, him noticing that I think my side is fine. He could have kept pushing, and maybe he could have picked North PC, but the northern players for Team 1 just punished the northern players for Team 2. And RNA's decision to go that way essentially slowed that push down. It was kind of trapped between a rock and a hard place about where to go. So I think because of the adaptability, the Billy Nuke, obviously the snipe on an enemy comm, last man standing, all that, I think I'm going to give it to RNA, even though he did lose. So that is a good thing to point out. Just because you lost the game or won the game does not necessarily mean you don't or do get the MVP/MUP award, because RNA is an 1800. I feel like he deserves the MVP. Artifacts, the mad lad that he was, running around on the front line, that's MUP. That's MUP award just right there. The fact that he lasted that long on the enemy front line in enemy territory definitely gives him that MUP award. Definitely probably deserves at least 100, if not 200 more rating points to make him a pro in this game. Let me know down in the comments if you felt the same way about that. And again, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and I will see all of you in the next one.